by South of Normal with your host, me, Michael Soren. Today I'm coming at you to talk about That 90s Show over on Netflix. Dropped today. I don't know if I'd call it a reboot, but it's a follow-up to the hit series from the early 2000s, That 70s Show. Stars Kurtwood Smith, Deborah Jo Rump reprising their roles as Mr. and Mrs. Forman. Don Stark comes back as Bob Pinciotti. And we got a slew of new kids playing the latest and greatest over in Point Place. They're the children of the cast members, not cast members, of the characters. We got Leia Forman of Eric and Donna's relationship. You got Jay Kelso from Kelso and Jackie. And then you got the newbies who are just townies. Fez comes back. Topher Grace comes back for Eric, Donna, Kelso, Jackie, Fenton, Leo. They all come back for this series so far. At least one instance, couple come back a couple times. But the plot is, it's 1995. Leia has to go. Well, Leia is visiting her grandparents for 4th of July weekend. She decides she wants to stay and just get away because she doesn't like living in Chicago with her parents and all that. So they decide to let her stay, and she starts making friends in Point Place the way her parents did when they were her age. Now, admittedly, I was pumped for this series. I loved That 70s Show. I liked this. It was watchable. But I only liked it because of my love for That 70s Show, really. Outside of that, I think it fell a little flat. There was... they hit the nostalgia hard in episode 1. They did not rely on the nostalgia so much. I guess it's there. There is a lot similar dynamics. They try really hard to recreate the cast dynamic from the characters from That 70s Show, but they're all like a blend of everybody, it felt like, and it didn't feel fresh. It felt like they tried to reinvent the wheel, whether that was writing style, directing style, acting choices, what have you. It didn't really work as the way I was really hoping for it to work. A big component that was missing, 2 big components, was the love story between Eric and Donna. That was there in the beginning, and it's kind of what pulls you in. It gives you more to hang on to. This is more about friends not wanting to leave friends. They throw in some teenage romance stuff, but it really falls flat and doesn't work the way I think they want it to. Because it's like, you don't really care. Like, there's not, like, okay, you made friends for the summer and you don't want to leave them. Is that enough to make me tune back in? We're watching Leia be rebellious and kind of find her own footing, similar to the way Eric was trying to do that. But she's not rebelling against her true parents. She's rebelling against her upbringing at her grandparents' house while she's on vacation. And her grandparents, while they care, they also don't. It's not the same dynamic. That's the other part that's missing, is that parental dynamic. Like Eric's struggle with Red, Donna's struggle with her parents, Hyde's lack of parents, Kelso's who doesn't have parents, and like there's that struggle that was so relatable, and the love story that was so relatable. It just felt like it was missing that. It is missing that, and that felt like it was a detriment. Now, there's a lot in this series that I liked. Like, I like this style, the sitcom style. I grew up in this time frame, so there's a lot of stuff, like, the references are more my time, whereas the 70s were before my time, despite being raised by parents in the 90s like it was the 70s. So there's a lot of stuff I got, and there's a lot of things like references, like, oh, I remember seeing that type of thing. But at the same time, it's like that lack of dynamics of the parental and the love story that you like. Yeah, Leia gets a boyfriend, and then there's this kind of cliffhanger type ending. But it's not enough. It's different because where that 70s show went on hiatus for the summer, it was more than just people calling each other to talk and keep in touch. There was stuff they could have done and they could reference and they could build on. Now it's like she leaves for 3 months, 6 months or whatever, 9 months, and I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that point. But like I said, I enjoy the show for what it is. I enjoyed the callbacks in the beginning, and I did like where they were, like this style. But overall, for someone who didn't watch that 70s show, who's like tuning in because like, oh, this looks interesting, they're probably gonna be like, this was crap. Unfortunately. Just the characters were all, they tried too hard to round them out instead of having, like, I didn't want them to be one dimensional, that's the incorrect term, but they didn't feel like they'd find their role and then all of a sudden it'd change a little, but then they go back to the role. Like, it was this weird thing. And then when they did have certain characters role pegged, it felt like they were too far ingrained and it was just not believable. I'm picking at straw. I'm grasping at straws here, I guess. I'm just nitpicking the hell out of it. But it's got a lot to it that I liked from a fan's perspective. From an entertainment perspective, yeah, I was entertained. I was able to watch it all in like one sitting. I didn't feel like I needed to take breaks. But it's lacking a couple things that I feel if they get another shot at it, like another season, and they iron those out, we could have something good here. Something better than what it is currently. Kurtwood and Deborah Jo fall right into their roles like they never left them. Don Stark, they kind of cheesed up Bob a little. So he's still Bob, but it was a heightened Bob, like all the real bad parts. It was really, from a fan perspective, it was cool to see where Eric and Donna ended up, how he's teaching a Star Wars course at a college, Donna's a writer. I wish they didn't make Donna wear the wig with the long red hair, because unless that's what her true hair looks like now, I felt it was a disservice to her character. They really played up the Kelso and Jackie dynamic being basically the same. Like, when we last left, she was with Fez, and then they bring Fez in to say she left him for Kelso, and he's a Wisconsin-renowned hairstylist, still living that life he was before he met Jackie. Leo's back, same Leo. Fenton's back, same Fenton. They go to the hub. So there's all these things that, like, the nostalgia was there to bring you back, and, like, okay, my mind is where it needs to be. But then it's I guess I shouldn't look for it to be the same. That's on me. But there was just some things missing, like the fact that the neighbor because Bob sold his house, I just didn't care for that character, and the fact that she's supposed to have 2 kids the same age from different dads doesn't add up. But I don't know. That's just me. It's worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. I'd say I'd recommend checking it out if you were a fan of that 70s show, a fan of this style, storytelling, the sitcom style. They use a laugh track. It's not live audience, and I feel like that always hinders the show. Like, if you don't get the live audience reaction, like, because people are telling you, oh, you're supposed to laugh here. This is what we think, and they're not really listening to the audience, because the audience could laugh at something else that you weren't intending, and that kind of helps the performers learn, like, oh, they like it more when I do this type of thing, and like I'm gonna get more laughs when I do this instead of the laugh track later. Laid a lot of pipe. Hopefully there's a season 2. Definitely check it out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, follow along for more great content. You guys are awesome. Deuces.